Hey guys, back again. After my little carbon skinning adventure, I'm actually this time going to try and make a whole carbon fibre from a mould. I'm going to try and make a little cowl that sits over and hides this clamp on the exhaust here. Got a nice Termi which has already got the carbon fibre tip on it. Just not loving the look of that little clamp there. They did have a shield when it was fitted to my S1000. But that won't go anywhere near this thing, so I'm thinking I've got some 50mm plumbing pipe here, so I'm thinking that's about the size of the actual pipe at the bottom of the clamp here, so I'm gonna heat it up, I think, with a heat gun and try and make some sort of flange on that, or a bell end. We do this with electrical conduits, so it shouldn't be too hard. That'll create the flare that comes down to, say, from 80mm to about 50mm. Once I've got that sorted, then I'm going to use that as a mould to wrap it in carbon fibre and then try and make a sexy little cow. So we'll see how we go. So here it is. It's sort of got the reducer part. I've cut the back out of it. It's going to slide on over that. And spin that around a bit. That's virtually the look I'm going for. So I might carbon wrap that little bit now. And then I'll drill a couple of holes where the actual bolts are in behind it. And that should make up a nice little carbon fibre cowl. Alright, so I've got it to the right size, drilled the holes for the nutserts into the clamp so it all fits up nicely as per the pick. I'm thinking I'm going to use some of this foil tape. I might lay it back over this way instead of using a release agent. That's got an adhesive back on it, so that'll actually stick the carbon fibre in place while I can get some resin down on it, and then when I pull it off it won't be stuck to the plastic. It'll come straight off with a nice heat shield in there. So we'll see how we go with that. So I've cut all the carbon up, just sort of cut a small template of what I wanted to do and stuck it into the silver tape, which had the adhesive on the back, so it stuck quite nicely into that little bit of PVC. I taped it all at the back. I'll give it some resin, and then later on I guess I'll have to get a Dremel in there and just cut around the inside to break it out of the mould. Yep, we'll see how she goes. Remember to always tape your cuts on your carbon fibre, or else you might come back to it being completely frayed off. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, you've seen it before, but second coat is on. It's looking quite cool. I'm digging it. I think it's going to look good on the pipe. So I'll leave that for 24 hours now and then do the subsequent coats. So it's been 24 hours now, and the first coat looks to have fully cured. So I'm going to have a go at getting the Dremel in there and trying to cut this out of the mould, which might be a little bit difficult, but we'll see how we go. So I've given it a good trim up, and I've scored the inside of the PVC pipe, the mould, and just re-drilled my holes for the nutserts. Thinking to get this out, the easiest option might be to try and heat the PVC a bit, make it a bit more pliable, and I'll try and wedge it out with just a small screwdriver or something. Hopefully she works. So it was a little bit tricky, but she's out. Got the nice silver tape in there, which I'll add a bit more for heat deflection. It's come out pretty good, still holding its shape. So now I'll knock it down, get it all nice and smooth, ready for the final coats of resin. So she's all knocked down, all nice and smooth, trimmed up all the edges and everything. Yeah, I'm gonna hit it with the 3 top coats now. I'm thinking I might make this a little bit darker, so I've got some black pigment for the base coat. I might just tip a little bit in, give it a bit of a darker tint. I reckon it'll look pretty cool. Okay, she's had 24 hours of the top coats. She's all dry and everything. I've got a little bit of a rough edge on the top and bottom, so I'll sort of block it down on a nice flat surface and try and get all that blocked down smooth. Same with all the front here. I'll give that a wet and dry sand, test fit it up, and then yeah, she should be just about done. So we're sort of back at stage 1 again. I wasn't happy with how the carbon looked once I'd finished, so learning what I've learnt about the K, if you're not happy, revisit straight away, because it's just going to bug you and bug you. So I ended up putting another layer of carbon on top, so I've now got 2 layers of carbon. I'm bloody stoked that I did it, because this looks so much nicer, so much flatter and more even. I've trimmed it all up and everything, so now we're going to go back again and do our 3 top coats, and then I'll block it down, and hopefully that is the end of this shroud. So here she is, version 2, with the extra skin of carbon on it. Nice straight edges, awesome. Pretty damn happy with this, so I shall drill the nut-cert holes back out and give it a test fit first, and then I'll block it down and give it a polish. So here's the test fit, guys. It's looking pretty snug. So it matches the top. Overall, I'm actually liking it. It's a nice little cover, no more clamp. Yeah, I'll give it a polish up now, and we are done. Another project down. Hope you enjoyed. Cheers, guys.